Hey Anthony, it's Kenny. How's it going?
Hey Kenny, what's going on?
Good, man. Apologies for the um
No worries, buddy. No worries at all. I know how this thing goes.
so yeah, I just
Just
updated my
long just long as we get just long as we getting connected, that's all that matters.
that's good. I just updated Skype, because it pretty much told me to at this point. Uh
Yep.
so here we are. So this is actually my first radio show with the updated Skype. So um
Uh-oh. Well, I'm glad to be on that show.
so Skype update edition of Chilling with Jeffrey Kenny C. Very pleased. Now let me give you a proper introduction. Singer,
Sure.
songwriter out of Virginia, known for multiple bands. I met this dude at the Capture Kentucky's network event probably about a month ago, if not longer than that.
Yep.
And I seen this man perform. We chatted up a bit, and I'm very pleased to have this man on these airways. Mr. Anthony Rain is joining me right now.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. I will say right away, thank you for doing this for I probably speak on behalf of all the locals everywhere. It's hard to get the word out. It's hard to be part of a scene, and you got a foothold on your area and your scene, and you're doing everything you can to promote it. You're the real the out of I mean, the word hero is probably tossed around a whole lot, but you're the real hero, man. You and your crew for doing this kind of thing and having people on. We don't, all we can do is do the best we can to get our word out, and you're just doing it to be doing it. You know what I mean?
I definitely appreciate the
That's like,
kind words.
yeah, that's
And,
yeah,
we've been doing this show for almost 11 years. And
crazy. That's awesome.
so for quite some time, we've been interviewing like independent artists and things like that. And now that I've become familiar with the local music scene, I can now interview local acts and people that are linked.
Right?
It feels pretty good that the show's ongoing, and that gives a platform for a guy like yourself, because there's a lot of
Right
good
on.
music out there for people that don't know, and it's not just necessarily on the mainstream radio. There's plenty of talented indie artists, independent artists,
Absolutely.
unsigned artists, however you want to categorize them. There's a lot of good artists out there, and they should get heard. And I'm glad to have you on, and I'm thank you for letting me play your song "Roll" on these airways too.
All right. Thank
and
you for doing that, man. Hope you enjoyed it.
I did. And not only did I play it once, I played it twice. I played
Uh-oh, a twofer.
I played it second times and I was trying to get you on in the background while the song was being played. So I hope people enjoy that record, and we're gonna get to that song and your new album in a matter of moments. But let's start from the beginning.
All right.
How did you get started as a musician? How did it all start off for you?
Probably very much like anybody. My parents were very involved my parents are artists. My dad worked with wood, sort of like a craftsman, and my mom's always been a painter, and she was a piano player as a child. So, music was always around. I was never really pushed into it. They just kind of let me. I was a very independent child, so they just kind of let me do what I was going to do early on. And there was always, one thing I always remember is there was always vinyl records were always around, so I would play them. I didn't really know what I was listening to at the time, probably. I would just put them on because I knew how to do it. And then as you grow, you just kind of take all these influences that are around you. All these things that are in your life. My brother was into listening to music, so he had a lot of it around, and that was back in the days of the cassettes. So I'd sneak in the bedroom there and grab a couple of cassettes, and he'd never know, and I'd play them, flip them over, and then I got my first Tascam 4-track, and figured that out. And then it was just it's a slippery slope, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether music chose me or I chose it, but it just kind of, that's just how that kind of happened. And then, you know, that kind of gets you into your grade school years where you pick up instruments and you're able to figure out how to make music and record music. And that pushes you into your first couple of bands. That pushes you into moving to Nashville for 20 years. That pushes you on tours and playing, you know, coffee shops to small venues with 2 or 3 people to stages of 25,000 and everywhere in between. It's been an incredible journey, and sometimes, you know, from one day to the next, you don't know what's going to happen, and I wonder if that's the appeal of it for me. It's just a really great life, you know.
One thing is certain about music is that it has a way of connecting people, whether you listen to it or you aspire to be one. And you know, it makes you feel certain ways. You know, it helps you through trying times, hard times, and inspires you and connects with you. And there will be some songs out there that you can relate to. You know, there's artists from back then all the way to today, and that's quite a journey. You know, coming from a family of musicians, and then I feel like music has become a two-way street pretty much. You know, and you know, you went with it, you went for it, and you continuing to this day. And I seen you perform at the Capture Kentucky event acoustically. Sounded real good, and you know, you was one of the best people that I got a chance to know out of everyone. So we talked about music, we talked about local music and things like that. Now for you, Anthony, who do you consider your musical influences? It could be for any genre, any generation. Like, who are your musical influences?
Man, I appreciate the kind words. I could feel you, Kenny, that day. I was feeling you, man. You're just a really kind human being. And in any walk of life, the journey of music truly is all about the connection. It's about my connection with music and me being able to translate that beautiful connection to people listening, to people, you know, who are going through those tough times, who are, you know, who are not able to push and to continue. It is my duty. That's part of my job is to be there with that helping hand to lift them up. I have such a big spirit and a big heart for things like that. So music is the vehicle I chose. That was the way that I was gonna, you know, save the world, you know. Save, you know, as many people, help as many people as I could. So, you know, I think it's about the experience. The experience is what influences me. I love music, Kenny. I love it with a passion. I own a lot of it. I buy a lot of it. I listen to it daily. It is in my earbuds all the time. It's on my vinyl player all the time. It's in my hands all the time. And I don't take that for granted, but I think the experiences, the connections with people, the musicians, my current band is blowing my mind. Like, they're out of this world. They're from another planet. And they're so talented, so kind. They're intellectuals. They push me to be a better player. And that's the inspiration, I think. You know, I could probably list you 15 people that inspire me, but that's going to change in about 10 minutes when I think of that 16th person or that 20th person, you know. Yeah. It's so hard to say, I love Herbie Hancock, he inspires me, but then I go, you know what, I also love Roy Ayers, or I love, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, you could go into all these people that you love, and it's still going to come back to the experience, to me. And that's just probably being on the road, you know, having the wisdom of being fortunate to begin this. I'm in the middle of my 28th year as a touring musician. Some of them have been great. I've had really great years. I've had really tough years. But it's all been wonderful. I wouldn't trade any of it for anything. Not for anything. I wouldn't trade any of it. It's all been part of the experience, and so that's the long of it. That's the long answer. The inspiration is just the vibe. It's the complete vibe that's happening around me.
Fitting with the word vibe. That is your Instagram, AW Vibe. So
I gotta throw that in there.
And by the way, you can follow Anthony Wayne on Instagram at AW Vibe, and go support that man. I want to get to this song, man. Whoa, you got a new album on the way.
Yes, sir.
But let's talk about the first single. It's called Whoa. What was it like recording this record, and what's it all about?
Well, I was in a band called Earth by Train for 8 years. They were a big part of my life. Just incredible times, great bunch of people to be around. Unfortunately, touring isn't for everybody. It's really tough. It's really hard on relationships. It's really hard on, personal lives and things like that. So I decided this year to fold Earth by Train. I started my own record label last year called Small Niche Market Records, and I wanted to have a home for my music. I wasn't going to let the industry, and the way the industry is now, you can do whatever you want. You become your own boss. You just have to work really, really hard. At some point, you can't do it all by yourself. You have to include other things. That's when you level up. You get, booking agents and management and all that. But I wanted to have a home for my music. And so I surrounded myself with some really great people. I'm going to put out some records on my label from other artists. And with Earth by Train, I just decided I'd kind of reached a point. We had spent some time in Morgantown, West Virginia, recording, and then it just didn't feel right. And so I kind of moved on from that group, and I had some bits and pieces left over. Mostly, it was the spirit and the vibe of that recording session. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do an Anthony Wayne solo record. And so I invested into my home studio and did it at my studio. And I decided, that kind of snowballed. I was like, well, Earth by Train's no more. For now, I say Earth by Train's no more, but that might be for another phone call. I have my own record label. We're releasing stuff, consistently. And there's going to be some Earth by Train material that's going to come out because I've got over 100 live shows. So we're going to release something at some point. And I've got 3 major recording sessions that we did as a band. So there's a lot of material. I just don't know how I want to put it out. And there may be some reunion shows. We're working on something for next year. But so with Anthony Wayne, I said, well, I'm going to do a second record. So I started seeking out these musicians, and it organically fell into my lap. Like some of the best players that I've ever came in contact fell into my lap, just like that. I'd been talking to the flute player, Amanda, and she was down from day one. And then the drummer, Michael, fell into place. The guitar player, Kevin, approached me at an Earth by Train show and said, I want to play music with you. And then Ellis came along through Amanda, the flute player. So it was like everything organically happened. And I was like, well, I've got this record. Then it turned into Anthony Wayne Vibe, because that's what I want. I didn't want it to be, I didn't want to try to emulate the people that I love, the bands that I love. I just wanted it to be whatever people wanted it to be, and leave it up for interpretation. And so it's just called Anthony Wayne Vibe. It's the vibe. It's all about the space between, Kevin, our guitar player, said it best. It's all about the space between us on the stage and the fans in front of us. It's about that space between us, and that's what the vibe is. So the first single, I have a new record coming out. We're going to try and get it out by September. That's the goal. The album's called Heart Bite Rain, As If is the name of the album. It's a little complicated album title, but it'll make sense as I unfold some things here over the next couple of months. But so the first single is Roll, and it's just about everybody's so tough on themselves. Everybody is so tough on themselves to be a certain way, to live a certain way, to achieve certain things. And ultimately, it's all there. We're all existing, and it's all happening right in front of us. And life truly is easy if you let it lead you. Sometimes life has a tendency to just lead itself. And And so it's just about slowing your roll. You know, it's an age-old saying. People say it all the time, hey, man, slow your roll. But I wanted to turn it into something that people could really get their mind wrapped around. You know, hey, slow your roll, not just say it and kind of, passively mean it, but ultimately just really like, hey, slow down. You know, slow down the pace of your life and really take stock of what you have. Be grateful for everything around you, even the tough things, because those are the best. The hard times are the best. I know it's tough for anybody who's going through tough times that's listening to see that, but it truly is the best time, because that's when you know how far you'll go, what you can take, how strong you can be. The strongest metals in our life are forged by the most extreme temperatures. So that tells you right there. So slow your roll. It's just about existing and taking it easy on yourself and taking it easy on others. And if you're walking and you see somebody down, lift them up and let them walk with you, you know.
Man, you're preaching to the choir right now.
Right?
Yeah, so name of the album, Heart Bite Ring As If, coming out probably around September once summer starts to die down a bit. And the first single is called Whoa. It's available on all digital music platforms. And
yes.
So go check.
And it's available at the website, awvibe.com.
awvibe.com is the website. All the social media feeds, old music, new music, everything is on there. Go check out Anthony Wayne, and upcoming shows as well are on that website too. So
yep. And it's got links to everything, to the Small Niche Market Studio. We book studio time. It's got all our tour dates, all our merchandise. I was trying to push a big announcement for you for today, but unfortunately that wasn't able to come through. But there is a big announcement that's going to change the fabric of what this band does and how much we can do it. So maybe we can schedule another phone call, something like that. But we'll probably be announcing it in the next couple of days. And it's a big deal, and the band's really excited. So I can't wait to meet everybody. I want everybody to come see us. We've got a lot of shows planned. We're in Cincinnati next weekend. Got a lot of shows through August, September, October. It's a good time. It's a great vibe, and we're really very fortunate to be where we're at.
It was great to meet you at the Capture Kentucky event, and it's great to have you on this show this evening. Thank you so much for your time. Continue doing what you do, and I'll keep an eye on the next Kentucky show, hopefully nearby Lexington, of course, but I'll keep an eye on that for sure. Thank you for your time, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right, thanks, Kenny. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for doing what you do, and I'll be sure to spread the word, buddy, and we'll see you real soon.
Absolutely. You have a good night, man.